turn to Senator Hirono of Hawaii.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we're focusing on waste, fraud, and abuse, there's just so much of that rampant in this regime that I hardly know where to begin. And while this is a small business committee and you want to focus on waste, fraud, and abuse in small business segment, there is massive waste, fraud, and abuse going on in our government, and I only need to point out to things such as the destruction of the White House and a ballroom being paid for by individuals and corporations that seek to get support from this administration. If that isn't pay to play, I don't know what is. You have the border czar accepting $50,000 in what looks like bribes to him lending contracts to people that he has a relationship or even ownership interest in. Talk about ethical problems. There's all that. And meanwhile, this regime has gotten rid of all of the entities, the independent entities such as the IGs, who might be able to point out to us overseers that this kind of waste, fraud, and abuse is going on. I am also aware that the chair has sent letters to almost 24 agencies and departments asking for, asking for a pause on the 8A program. I don't even know if these agencies or departments have the authority to do such a pause, because we're talking about contracts and who knows, I don't even know what that means to pause, but to know that the 8A program consists of entity-owned businesses, which mainly are Alaska Native corporations, Native Hawaiian organizations, tribal organizations. These are entities that have to give back to the communities and who can access contracts, large contracts, up to $100 million. And the 8A also includes individual-owned businesses, and they have to show that they are economically and socially disadvantaged. So mainly when, Madam Chair, when you write a letter saying you want to pause on the 8A program, you are basically focusing your attention on the Native-owned businesses who hire thousands of people, giving back to the communities, alleging massive fraud. I would like to see that. If there is fraud going on in the 8A program, as if there is fraud in any other program, we should go after these people. You don't go in there and say, wipe out the entire program. So I'd say that is definitely overkill. And I want to record my serious concern about what you are doing, Madam Chair. I have a question for Mr. Hedlett-Gaudet. So would you say that you have an awareness of the 8A program? Would you say that it is fraught with rampant fraud and abuse?
No. I would say that, as you just mentioned, with any program, in the federal government, especially ones that deal with money, there are going to be people who take advantage of the system, bad actors.
Yeah, and considering that the 8A program consists of maybe 41 billion or so in contracts versus, what is it, 755 billion?
That's right.
I should think that there might be concerns about waste, fraud, and abuse in all those entities getting the 755 billion in government contracts. And I am very aware of the need for contract reform within the Armed Services Committee, because I have sat on that committee for over 12 years, and the former chair of that committee has spent his entire time chairing that committee trying to figure out how to do contracting reform. So we know that there are issues relating to oversight of all of these, the amounts of federal dollars that go out. Now, this is a desire to help entities that would otherwise have a hard time getting a fair shake and getting a share of federal contracts. This committee is actually supposed to be supporting those efforts, not to support waste and fraud, of course not, but to enable entities that would otherwise have a difficult time getting their opportunity to provide services to our country. When I think of all of the obvious conflict of interest and pay-to-play activity that is going on, not to mention the president wanting $200 million from the Department of Defense, which he considers his law firm. He considers Pam Bondi his lawyer. He wants the DOD to go after all his enemies. Well, what is that but abuse? Why don't we pay attention to those things? Okay.
You have 2 seconds. Senator.
I have run out of time, but you,
Yes, thank you. And I just, because the member has brought into question my motives, I did say pause on the 8A program. I did not say cancel the 8A program because of the recent abuse that has been brought to light through various investigative pieces of journalism. You are out of order, Senator Hirono. Thank you. So because of the abuse that has existed in the system, and I think most Americans, and especially our small businesses, would want us to open the books and provide transparency. So that's what we are asking, is a complete audit. Those that are fearing audits perhaps shouldn't be participating in federal government programs. I began my political career as an auditor. I believe in transparency and oversight. So next we will recognize Senator